Hello, and welcome to One Tech World 2024. I am Amy Combrinck, a negotiation trainer and coach. Negotiation for many people may feel scary, daunting, evoke images of traders slamming their phone down if they don't get the deal that they want. We are reminded of these uncomfortable feelings within the media. Think about The Wolf of Wall Street or TV shows such as Succession, Dragon's Den, or The Apprentice. It's entertainment for the viewer. It's not necessarily an opportunity for you to learn how to build confidence in negotiation skills. Like it or not, negotiation has become a basic survival skill. An increase in your flat rents, which takeaway you're going to have on a Friday night, what time bedtime actually is going to be, or even which days you're going to be in the office next week. I have over 18 years of negotiation experience across digital, media, and technology companies, small ones, large ones, and even startup ones. I've seen begging, I've seen arm wrestling, and I've even seen free personalized trainers to try and secure a deal. It's been fun, it's been hard, and I have felt female in some of these scenarios. A book called Women Don't Ask by Babcock is all around evidence that men have negotiation as part of their day-to-day lives, whereas women are more likely to use other skills, such as working harder to deliver more or improving relationships to be noticed by key management. The book also highlights a study around starting salaries of graduates from a university with a master's degree. As mentioned, it looks at starting salaries. Who accepts the first offer versus questions the first offer? The study showed that 7% of the women only questioned the first salary offer they were given, whereas 57% of the men questioned that first salary offer. Let's just repeat that. Of that study, men were 8 times more likely to question that first salary. For me, while chunks of this book made me squirm and I agreed with them entirely, I do find some of the data and the concepts a little bit outdated. This book was written in 2003, so there have been various studies since this. One study suggests that women do actually ask more than when this was done, but the likelihood of them being considered for promotions and pay rises is still less than of those male counterparts. We all know the importance of data in our day-to-day lives. We use it all the time to assess and evaluate everything that's going on around us. But if we don't make informed decisions to take action from that data, we won't ever learn anything or move forward. From this session today, I'm going to give you my top tips to improve your confidence in negotiation. Remember, no one is born a negotiator. It's not something that you're inherited or you get from your parents. It's a learned skill, something that you need to practice to improve and work upon. In the film Man of Fire, Denzel Washington is teaching a little girl to swim, and he says to her, "There is no such thing as tough. You are either trained or untrained. So which one are you?" Top tip number 1. Do your preparation and plan ahead of a negotiation. Take a moment to think, what is your why? So you want a pay rise? Great. Why do you want that pay rise? You want a promotion? Good for you. Why do you want that promotion? What do you want is very different to why. The what is the end goal, such as the pay rise, but the why is how you're going to get there, so your strategy. This is a secret to unlocking how you can do that excellent preparation and planning ahead of time. For example, you want a promotion. Why? Because you've been at the company for 2 years and you deserve one. That will not work. Why do you want a promotion? Is it because you've been hitting all your targets? Is it because you've introduced a new business system to help efficiencies internally? That is where you do your negotiation planning ahead of time. What was the exact number that you generated in incremental revenue? What it was the measurable efficiency to internal business systems with this new tool? How many other departments benefited from this? So by planning facts, collecting evidence, your why will be crystal clear when you go into that negotiation. People are unpredictable. Negotiations can be stressful, pressured. People can change their minds. But if you have your why sorted and clear ahead of time, it gives you more space to handle the emotions and the communication in the moment if you need to. Top tip number 2. See negotiation as a collaboration, a way to work together to solve a problem together. It's not about winning at all costs. It's not about fighting. If it does become this, I would encourage you to reconsider this is a relationship that's going to benefit you in the long term. Imagine negotiation as a handshake instead of an arm wrestle. So togetherness and collaboration. So now you've planned ahead your why, start to consider it from the other side. Many people don't do this in a negotiation. Put yourself in the other person's shoes. You've considered what you've won. You spent a lot of time on that. Now flip it the other way. What does the other side care about? What does the other side not care about? What are they like? What type of communication preference do they prefer? What might be their potential pushbacks? How might they see it from their side? A mum is frantically trying to get emails out before the end of the day. Her 2 children are downstairs watching TV and she hears them start to argue. What's wrong? She says. They both want an orange and there's only one orange left. So she takes it, cuts it in half and gives them half each. She goes back upstairs and as she does this, she hears them moaning again. Kids, what's up? It then transpires that the daughter wanted the peel of the orange to do a school science experiment, and the son just wanted to eat the orange. Why am I telling you this? Not to talk about or covering parenting in this instance, but to show you that it's just not ever safe to assume, especially in a negotiation. And the best way to avoid assumptions is to ask questions. So in a negotiation, what questions can you ask? Ideally, they need to be powerful questions. A couple of powerful questions can give you a lot of insight to help reinform your why or go back with a little bit more of a shift in your ask. Knowledge is power. We know that. Data is key. I would suggest planning a couple of these questions ahead of time, and you will notice that you will have a few favorites, the ones that land, the ones that work, the ones that come more naturally, and they will be your go-to and a way to build your confidence moving forwards. A couple of examples of questions. It feels like today is not the best day to have this conversation. When might be a better time for you? Are you able to provide more detail around how this decision will be made? Negotiations are more likely to succeed if the other side feels listened to and understood. Top tip number 3, the most important one. Never, ever negotiate just one thing. I position myself as a negotiation trainer and coach because negotiation as a skill can be widely used across lots of different areas in life. 9.5 times out of 10, people come to me and ask for help with salary negotiations. When you focus on only the number, this is where I see most negotiations fail. Why? Because it will most likely lead to an arm wrestle, a fight, a back and forth, a tug of war, that win-lose scenario that we are trying to avoid here if we're seeing it as collaborative problem solving. You and your friend order a pizza with olives. It arrives, there are 11 olives on the pizza. One of you is going to have 6 olives, the other one is probably going to have 5. Win-lose scenario. Imagine you and your friend order a pizza with an additional topping, jalapenos. This introduces another variable where one person will still only get 6 olives and the other one will get 5. But by introducing jalapenos, there's another opportunity for it to become more about a collaboration and not a fight. The number of jalapenos is actually almost irrelevant in this scenario. The extra variable as a concept means that it's more likely to end in a win-win scenario. Okay, let's just leave pizza to the side for a minute and go back to a money scenario. The flat you have found and you want is a little bit outside of your price range. The landlord is adamant that it's going to be £1,000 a month. He does, as it turns out, offer a slight discount for anybody that has their own dog, £50. £50 discount a month. And so the second variable has been introduced to this conversation. You have money, rent, and dogs. You have a dog, and you now understand that the landlord prefers to rent to people that have their own dogs, as he has 2 dogs himself. He is a dog lover. You ask him some questions, and it also turns out that he pays a dog walker once a week to take his 2 dogs out as he travels into town and doesn't have time to do this himself. With that information, you reconsider your negotiation. You suggest that if you move in, you could take all 3 dogs out once a week, and he could stop paying a dog walker if he would consider knocking a further £50 off the rent each month. You rent the flat that you would like for a rate that closely or more closely matches your budget. You have the additional responsibility of walking 3 dogs every week, but it'll be the same time you were taking your dog out anyway. Just money would have created a back and forth scenario and a win-lose scenario. Bringing in the additional variables makes it more feel like a collaboration. It's more likely to have a long-term relationship and build rapport with the other side. It's also more likely that the negotiation is going to be a success. If it had just been about rent and money, there is an increased likelihood that both sides may have had to walk away. By understanding and collaborating with the other person, you're more likely to bond and secure the deal that you want. So, in summary, my top tips to increase your negotiation confidence. Number 1, plan ahead of time. Understand and know the difference between your want and your why. They are very different things. Number 2, see negotiation as a collaboration and an opportunity to solve problems together. It is not about winning at all costs. Number 3, the most important one. Never, ever negotiate just one thing. Remember, no one is born a negotiator. It is a learned skill. The more you practice it, the more confident you will become with it, and it will become one of your strengths. My ask for you is to write down one new thing that you've learned today and what you will try in your next negotiation when it comes up today or tomorrow. These negotiation top tips are for anybody in any scenario, any role, any level, any type of experience. I wish you luck in your learning and your skill building. Thank you for joining today. Please follow me on LinkedIn and social media. I am Amy Combrinck, the negotiation trainer and coach.